But now and again, we do get people on the show who actually are quite sporty and fit.
He was the fastest qualifier and last man standing.
That's what I'm talking about!
It's semi-pro Chris.
This is how it's supposed to be done. Let's get it on.
Oh, mate.
Okay, so we are now 8 interviews into this journey of interview and wipeout contestants. And as it happens, the third Chris that we're speaking to. So what have we learned so far? If you ask me, I would say statistically, if your name's Chris, that means you're going to be good at Total Wipeout. How good? Okay, well, in the case of semi-pro, get my words mixed up already. In the case of semi-pro Chris, I can hand on heart say I quite literally looked up to him. Case in point, picture the scene. There I was in the water, just been mowed down viciously by the sweeper. And I look up and who do I see standing there? King of the sweeper, Chris. And I'll tell you now, at that exact moment, that's when I'm thinking like, my goodness me, this guy's the real deal. Because he just beat me for the second time in a row. So yes, he is the real deal. And he is really here today. Chris, how are you, mate?
John, I'm good, man. What an intro that, man. What an intro.
I don't know about you, but do you find just watching old clips again, it brings back the memories, doesn't it?
It is. It's pretty crazy. And I'm just looking back at that, I kind of cringed a bit on that kind of intro. You know, they tell you you've got to like have a line, or when you watch it on the TV, you've got to have a line when you're like at the top and like going down the water slide.
Yeah, the shout out.
The shout out. And I look back at that and I think that's what I was thinking. But it was all fun, man. It was all fun.
Do you know what? You've just reminded me of something straight away. Okay, your shout out said, this is how it's supposed to be done. Let's get it on. Was that the full shout out or was it longer? Because with me, they cut it right down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
said, mine was a lot longer, and they just used the last bit.
Oh, really? No, I think that was it. In my head, I tried to say. In my head, I think when I was thinking about it, I was like, just try to say something that is kind of short and sweet, and you're not going to get like too embarrassed about it watching back. And I think I completely failed at that.
They must have liked you more, because with me, they're like, he's talking too much. Shut him down. So, I mean, I got to ask you. I mean, okay, we better set the scene quickly. Predominantly, we're going to talk about Wipeout because that's what everyone knows you for. Certainly, everyone watching this on YouTube and Instagram and everything, that's what they know you for. But we've also, it was referenced in the show, hence the nickname Semi-Pro Chris. We want to find out about your football career, which we'll talk about later, and then what you're up to today. So, probably we're estimating about 40 minutes. We can get through all this, but given that we were on the same show, I mean, I just want to hear what was your route to apply in. What was the starting point?
Mad. It's proper throwback because it's like what 14, 15 years.
Yeah, 14 years. I think next week it's exactly 14 years. We're at Heathrow Airport.
Yeah. Mad. And I think back then I was like, how old would I have been? I would have been like what 24, 25. And I think at that time we always used to watch Total Wipeout before like a night out because it was like Saturday night kind of, wasn't it? Yeah. And we used to play like a few like drinking games.
Right.
Or, like, so it particularly on the red on the balls. On the red balls. So whenever anyone kind of like dropped into them, we'd like do a shot. And I think on one particular night, on one particular night, we had a few drinks by this time as well. Yeah. We were like, I think we'd had quite a few drinks, right? And I think on this show, it was like the number come up of if you want to apply for it, and a few of us applied, and I was the only one out of like I think there was 4 of us before we went out, and I was the only one that got called through.
Oh wow! Okay,
got called back. And at this point, I think I was working my first kind of like proper corporate job. It was just like I was doing like digital marketing for like an accountancy firm at the time in London. And so they kind of like call you back, and then you go through you've got to do like the physical. Did you have to do like the physical test?
Yeah,
when they call you up, exactly. Yeah.
Did you do? Was it like chin ups and
chin ups? You got to do pull ups, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to do a lot of the pull ups and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that you can like I don't know somehow get through the calls. And I managed to like go through that, and then do the recording and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then you end up, and then I think it was at this job, I think I was going out for lunch and I got a call. Right. And they said, I think it was on a Friday, I think. And they said, oh, we'd love you to come on the show. And I was like walking back to the office, like with like, I think it must have been like a Pret sandwich or something like that, man. Yeah. Then I told my boss that I need to like book like a few days off to go to Argentina for this show, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
Which was mad. But I think literally, a short answer to your question, it was literally like we had a few drinks, saw it on the TV, and then we made a call. And
do you know what? Of all the people I've asked so far, that's the first time I've heard that it revolved around a bit of a drinking game.
It was not planned. It was not planned or anything at all. It was literally like this would be funny, and because we had a few drinks, we had a bit more I don't know, confidence to just like give it a call and give it a go. So and that's how it happened.
Yeah. Do you remember what? Out of interest, I haven't got a picture loaded up, but do you remember when we were told to go to Heathrow? Was it Terminal 5 that we had to do, or was it Terminal? I can't remember. But we were. I think it was like cafe. We're told go to a cafe or whatever and just look for people there. I mean, do you remember we were trying to sort of suss out who's our little group, as it were?
Who looks like they could be going on Total Wipeout here? I know, because I do remember coming in, and I saw like kind of crap, and in my head I'm kind of thinking, how can I just ask someone, are you going to like Total Wipeout? That's weird thing to kind of like ask someone. But the first person I asked, and I think it was I think it might have been Alex I saw, actually, because he was my roommate, actually. He ended up being my roommate.
I did wonder. Yeah.
And we got on really well, actually. During I think he was the first person, and he like luckily said yes, and then everyone else was there as well. So you were kind of like lucky, at least, right? That's part one of the journey. You found everyone that's going to be going, on on this show, So but yeah, I did feel like a lot of us in that group, because from what I remember, we had like, was it nearly like a week?
We had longer than any other show because they couldn't get flights when they wanted to. So we had an extra day before filming and an extra day after filming. Everyone else had no, we had quite a lot of spare time in Argentina. The others didn't. We were really lucky on that one.
Exactly, massively. So no, it was good, and it kind of like made you feel at ease. I think everyone made you feel at ease. I think in our group, everyone just got on really well. I think from like as soon as we met at Heathrow. I think it's all just, we were just like really excited to kind of like get on this show that we just seen on like Saturday nights, and
that's it. I thought it was quite impressive, given that we'd never met each other beforehand, and then suddenly we're all bundled together, and we spent nearly a week together, and it just it just went really, really well. So
it did. I love it. I loved it. Like the whole experience of it. Even just getting on the plane and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was wicked.
In a way, do you reckon that it was, doing the events is one thing, but the things we remember the most is all the other bits that happened around it?
I
So it's like, I was thinking of showing a clip later, that the infamous one of you and Alex in that taxi.
That taxi, the taxi drivers in Argentina, they are built different out there, man. It was literally being in like a game of Mario Kart.
I know. I've actually got a clip of it.
Have you? Because I think I recorded it. I think I had a camera in there. I think
you were both recording it. It's I had a look on, I hope Alex doesn't mind, I went on his Facebook last night. I found it. Now what I've done is that it's a 6-minute clip and I've edited it down. It's up to you. Do you want to go to it right now a second? And
go on then.
Let's find this. Hold on, where is it? Right, I gotta go back to share screen. This is the joys of doing things on the fly.
Welcome to Kamikaze Cab. Your host Alex Lowe with
Christopher Oladogba.
Christopher, aka Chris Tucker.
straight through the red light. You like the ladies.
You're gonna get a big tip, my friend, I tell you. You deserve a big tip. You're a genius, man.
Here we go. Looks like we're about to go now.
Yes!
Another McDonald's
there's a curb!
2 blocks away. We nearly just went into that.
Look at this. He's next to the egging him on.
You old man, look at me.
He understands English.
I am the best taxi driver.
Yeah, the best.
He's actually said he's the best.
He's the best taxi driver.
Yes. In the world.
In the world. In the world. Hotel Dazzler. Whoa. Yeah. Oh. Right.
The journey is done. Thanks, driver.
Thank you very much.
Say goodbye. Yeah.
It was
crazy, man.
do you know what? I actually showed that to the parents. They were cracking up. That's the first time they watched it last night. I shared it to them, and it was. Doesn't that sum up though that it's all the other stuff that happened around there? People think, we just remember the games, but it's not. It's all the other bits.
Exactly, and then on the other bits as well. Me and Alex, we actually went to a football match out there as well.
Oh yeah. What stadium was that?
From the hotel. So we went to watch. I think it was a rival match. It was Boca Juniors versus River Plate, and they're quite big teams in Argentina. And it was a nighttime game. Yeah. And so the experience there at nighttime, you'd almost like absolutely poo yourself going to a game like that. They've literally got like the horse guard, the flares going even before you get into the stadium. And I think because we booked the tickets through the hotel we were staying at, they had us like they gave us like a bit of a spiel like before we go into the stadium, because we were sitting in the away end. So they were like, there has been known that people kind of can get shot at games. So if your team, the home team or the away team, score, don't stand up and celebrate, because you'll end up being targeted by people in the stands with either getting things thrown at you or potentially getting shot at. So when they did score, me and Alex were just looking at each other like sitting in our hands, trying not to like jump up and down or anything. And you're in this kind of like cage, you're like, like I don't know how many feet up in the air in the stadium, but the atmosphere was like electric.
Because I vaguely remember the picture of you and Alex at the stadium. It was a huge. I mean,
it's massive.
Comparison to like Wembley Stadium, is it a similar size to that? Or
maybe like I'd say like double the size of Wembley easily. It was huge.
That's me.
But an amazing experience as well.
Yeah.
See that.
Yeah, because I missed some of the touristy stuff. I got to be honest, I don't travel that well, and after the flight, I was exhausted, so I was sleeping quite a bit trying to recover. So I missed out on a few of the sites and stuff. But it's all those little bits that really those are most of the memories that that I remember. All those little things. Of course, you do know we've got. I think you saw that we decided to throw out a few fan questions to see if they had stuff for you. I was thinking, should we just play your montage you on the show, and then we can go straight to those questions, because then we can open this up, a little bit more. Right. Okay. This is where I have to see if I can still do this editing thing on the fly. I think I'm at the right one. Yeah, I am.
Let's catch up with semi-pro Chris. Some fancy footwork from the former semi-pro footballer. Let's see if semi-pro Chris can keepy uppy with these big balls. He looks as though he's going to do it like no one's ever crossed before, and then it all goes wrong at the end. Had that worked, it would have been. Semi-pro Chris takes aim. His amazing time of 1:37 is the fastest today. Wow. And semi-pro Chris is in top spot, with rowing John and postman Paul in second and third. Man Mark, who will be last man standing. The sweeper is moving really quite fast. And semi-pro Chris is today's last man standing.
Come on! That's what I'm talking about! Come on!
Here's a reminder of exactly who the Dreadies are.
Heat 1, semi-pro Chris versus rowing John.
Well, he's a big contender, but I think I'm up to it, and to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
Chris has got to be the favourite, fastest qualifier, last man standing. If that's not favourite, I don't know what is.
3, 2, 1.
So this is it, our first look at the door jam. When the klaxon sounds, these guys can start racing through those doors. There it is. Oh, semi-pro Chris has stumbled already. He's down, but hanging on to the door. Oh! He's taking it with him. He's gone. What a dramatic start to the treadmill. Semi-pro Chris is fully wet and out of Total Wipeout.
Do you know what? I don't know about you, but even I feel bad watching that, because was not a that is not how the treadmill should have gone. It just.
I look back at that and I think I was fuming when I
can understand.
When I got into the water, I was like, "Oh, Chris, you have messed this up."
Yeah.
And then then after that, I was like, "Well, you know what? I think my kind of like head almost automatically goes to like the positives." And I thought like because we had got on so well with everyone there, and we had like how many extra days I think in Argentina after that.
It was a total at birth. We flew out on the Tuesday, got back on the Tuesday. It's 7 days total. We were away.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. We got at least an extra 2 days compared to everyone else. So
exactly. Yeah. So it weren't so bad, but 10K in the bank account would have been nice if I managed to if I had a chance of getting to the next stage. Because I guess after that was like
that was
final,
the thing.
right?
If going through to the treadmill, that suddenly opened it up because no matter what happened in the wipeout zone, you were guaranteed a second show.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I read it in the flyers said that they were thinking of a champ show, but I wasn't sure if it was happening or not. And it was only after Dreadmill I said, "Is there a champ show happening?" And then, yeah, it is happening. Oh right, okay. So it's like at that point, then there was the second one. But I mean, admittedly, I think we may have mentioned it afterward, but it was just a bit of a shame with the draw that we both ended up together. That only something was going to happen because ideally, if both of us had got through, then we would have both had a shot at the championship. Because to be honest, I'll tell you now, I reckon you would have been right up with the front runners in the champ show. Having watched the others, you literally there was even here's something. I'll find the link for you. A couple of fans have done their own Wipeout channels and put together stats and everything. There was one of people who didn't make the Wipeout zone, but who they felt were the best competitors who didn't quite make the final. And across all the series, you were ranked as the 5th best across all the series who didn't get to the final.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. The other thing as well was, in fact, I suppose, hold on, let me see where the questions are. One of the fan questions was talking about the time that you clocked in that qualifier as well, because it looked like, I suppose we'd better go to the questions so that we don't, cover it in advance. But, I mean, if that timer was accurate, and they generally sort of are, it looked like you were going to set had you landed it, you would have set a record for the whole series.
No way.
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
Well, okay, yeah. All right, here's the thing to watch for. On that montage, when you hit the podium, the clock was at about 1 minute 12. But for some reason, you and I, according to them, when we hit the podium and fell in, we took 20 seconds or so to recover and get up to the top. I don't know. Okay. I thought it was quicker than that myself, but I'm just going off what they said. If that's the case, the fastest time of the whole series was 1:21, and you potentially could have landed in 1:12. So
no way.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I know. It's all. Do you find though? Is it the same with football that there are so many things that are just like what ifs? If just one little thing is different, it can change. It can change your whole outcome.
Exactly. So, like a millimeter difference or a little bit kind of like faster.
Yeah.
Just completely change.
Of course, I suppose, especially with you being sort of goalie, it's absolute inches, isn't it? Or centimeters can be
completely.
Yeah,
completely. It is all of that, Exactly. Yeah. But it's all kind of like shoulda, coulda, wouldas,
I know.
Exactly. When I come down to it, I'm just grateful to like get the experience,
Well, do you know what? I suppose looking back, I mean, you look at how many millions watched the show versus there was only a handful of us that got to be out there. And it's kind of weird. I don't know about you, but I never thought the show would still be talked about after all these years. I thought, it's just a bit of fun at the time, and that was it.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't always remember, actually, when it went live.
Yeah.
I was actually at a wedding. I was at a friend's wedding, so I didn't watch it when it
came. So was I. We were both. That's right. We were both at weddings. Yeah.
So I had some mates, separate group of mates that had booked like a big screen at the pub to watch it.
Yeah.
Whilst I didn't tell anyone like what the result of it was at all. I just just watch it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And during this wedding, I was getting all these text messages about, Chris smashed the first one. And then I started getting all these like images of like treadmills and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, too expensive. All the banter coming from like my friends and stuff like that on it as well, which was crazy. So it was good that day when it went live on the TV. That was pretty fun. It was.
Do you know what? I actually called Rob just before it went to air because I was at a wedding as well, do you know, me and him, we were absolutely petrified because we don't know how it's going to get edited together. We don't know what's going to be done. We don't know what nicknames, nothing, do we?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So, I'll tell you what, we'll talk a bit more on some of our sort of experiences. Let's get through the fan questions first, and then you can, answer those. So, hold on, let's do this. Jacob Rowe says, what was the camaraderie like on set? Let's do that. Oh, was there people you were rooting for to do well with you, or were there people you looked at on the sweeper or qualifier and sort of teaming up with or working with to get to the final together? That's a very long-winded question, but bit by bit, camaraderie on sets.
Yeah, I think that was massive. I think, as I said before, like when we got to the airport, I think everyone just kind of, I don't know, just connected because we were going on this like massive experience, you know, to this huge TV show that like, God, I don't know if you know how many people watch it, like, or
it was our series was about anything between 5 and 7 million.
Mental.
Loads, and that's just the UK. It ended up on Amazon Prime recently in America, and it's gone all over the world.
That's it. Yeah, huge. It was crazy. So I think we kind of like built up quite a good kind of like bond whilst we were out there.
Yeah.
I think we were all just like excited to be on this like show.
Yeah.
We were in like a different country.
Yeah.
We had like I don't know, they give you this spending money, right? To kind of,
that's right. Yeah.
Money, didn't we? Yeah. So we had this money to kind of like, you know, enjoy ourselves while we were out there. It was like wicked. It was almost just like being on like not like a stag do, but it was it was like along those kind of like lines. You know?
Yeah, because I'm used to going on holidays having to have my own money. But I mean, admittedly, they did say if you overspend, then you use your own money.
Exactly, then you use your own. Exactly.
Even so, the fact we were even given some money was kind of
exactly
kind of nice.
And it was wicked. And I think in terms of like, I guess I can answer both the you know, who I'd kind of like look to on the sweeper and like best mate on the track. It'd probably be like Alex, who I was in a room with. I think on there. And Alex, he got over the Red Bulls, didn't he?
He cleared them.
Yeah, he cleared them. Yeah, so I was kind of like rooting for him.
Yeah,
as like, and we got on quite well. We kind of, I think we spoke together like after the show. We spoke together quite a lot on like Facebook, online and stuff like that.
Yeah,
not really spoken to him for quite a few years now, though. Yeah. So but it'd be good to get back in touch with him.
I know. Yeah, because I've seen he doesn't post that often. He posted something recently where he was out. Was he in Vegas or something? I think he did some sort of post. Right. Can't remember, but I think he'd won quite a bit of money or something, if I saw right.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
And then you as well. I chat to you a bit.
Well, exactly.
I
mean, we've kept in touch quite a bit over the years. I mean, the last time I saw you was down at Wembley, wasn't it? Because I went tickets to go and see it. I got to say, that was amazing to watch you in action. To actually go to a match and see someone like, I know him. I know that guy. So
that's crazy.
That was awesome. But I think we've covered all of that. Who was your best friends? Obviously, Alex. Yeah, this whole teaming up, working together. I mean, I'll be honest. For me, very early on, I was starting to. I could see you and Alex were looking like the two real dominant ones going through. I remember after day one, me and Paul were, because Paul was my roommate. We were shocked that we qualified, I think, 2nd and 3rd, and like you and Alex were 1 and 4, weren't you? So it was effectively the 4 of us because. No, I actually remember with Alex, I'm sure, wasn't it him and you were doing some practice jumps in the hotel? And
I can't remember. I think we were like jumping either on the beds.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Or on there was like, what did we have? I don't know if we set up. I think, if I remember this right, we set up like a few chairs in our room. And we were literally just jumping from one to the other.
Brilliant, yeah.
Which was like so unrealistic to what it was like in real life. Because it was just not like that. It's just kind of like stupid stuff. But I don't know. I think in like before, like showtime and stuff like that, before we got the minibus down to like the stage and stuff like that, we were in our heads like thinking about how we were going to like tackle each bit. But when you're there, it just goes out the window, and you just try and figure it out on the fly.
Do you know what? You've just reminded me of something. We'll get to Joshua's question in a minute. Okay, given that you've got a sporting history anyway, and that sort of pre-game nerves. How was that compared to when you're at the top of the course or at the top of about to start sweep or something? Was the nerves similar, or was it a different type of nerve?
It was a different type of nerves, I think. I think this one, like with kind of like the games that I kind of had played like football wise and stuff like that. I think in the kind of like in the stadiums that you play on, it's like sometimes apart from like the Wembley run, it's like you know, one man and his dog, so there's no one really kind of like watching you. But then when you think you're on the top of this beam and you know how many people, and you just said like what 7 million people going to be watching, you're like I've got to try and pull something out the bag here, because I know my mates back home are just going to banter me forever if I kind of like mess this up. So that was like some added pressure, I guess.
It was. I guess for me it was a case of like with the rowing stuff, I knew, although I was nervous, I knew what was about to come. But this, we had no practice. I didn't know what to expect, and I was having nightmares. I wouldn't even get onto the first obstacle. You know, just didn't know. But okay, right. Joshua's question: if Wipeout came back, would you do it again? Considering you're a PT, still look to be in good shape. I reckon.
Cheers, Josh.
Yeah, and you reckon exactly. Yeah, I've spoken to Joshua a few times. I think he follows you as well on Instagram. I'm pretty sure he does.
Right.
So yeah, if it came back, would you go for it again?
100%. I always think like is the reason that the reason why it was filmed in Argentina. And I don't know if it's like easier to kind of like do a show like that out there than in the UK.
Well, do you know what? A few of us wondered that. Apparently, they were bound by the same health and safety rules because it was a British show. UK health and safety laws applied out there. But it was cheaper for them to fly us all out because they had 2 courses out there and there was like 30 countries using it. Apparently, it was cheaper flying everyone out than if they built courses in every single country. So that's apparently why. Although in this day and age, I imagine if it came back, they would build one over here. I can't see they'd be shipping people all around the world again. I think that part of living is not too sure about that now. But
I definitely do it again.
Yeah,
if I had the chance.
I think if you did it, I think as well you would probably clear the ball. I can't believe how close you got to clearing the balls because you were potentially going to be the first person to run them as well because you stayed on your feet the whole way.
You nearly got past them as well. I think you got to the same.
I got to the fourth. I got to the fourth, but I fell into the second one. At that point, I was just doing one at a time.
Yeah,
and I made a mistake. I bounced off instead of bringing my knee up on the last one, my stomach hit it. And just bounced in, and I remember the word that came out of my mouth. I can't repeat on this or on TV. It was one of those. Sorry, Mum. Oops. Right. Let's see what we've got. Edwin Anthony. Okay, so he said, "How would you perform in the Wipeout zone if you'd made it there?" What were your thoughts on that? Did you look at it and think?
Oh yeah, I was like, when you get to that kind of stage, you've got to back yourself in it. So I would like to think I'd have done all right in it. It looked wicked though watching it because I always remember this actually because I looked back at just before when we were chatting about coming onto it, I looked at some photos on there and I remembered I had a hoodie on. Yeah, I think they made me turn it like inside out.
Oh, okay.
It had like a logo on it, so I remember sitting on they had little benches for us.
The bench on the side,
yeah, exactly, for us to sit in, and I'm like wondering why is my hoodie like inside out there as well. But I think it's because they had the logo and stuff.
Of course, they were petrified of logos, weren't they?
But I reckon I'd like to have thought I'd done all right. I think in the.
Do you know what I think you probably would. You could have been knocking around about the 1.5 minutes. On the. I think so. Do you know what would have been interesting? It was more, the rotating brusher. That seemed to be the thing that took almost everyone. But because you were good on your feet, if you'd cleared that would have taken so much off your time. Because we had one guy who was on the show before us, Anthony, and he was lagging behind quite a few other people. But then the last part of the course, he crossed the finish line in 1:30, but he cleared the brusher, and hardly anyone in our series could do it. So that would have been, and again, the way you trampolines, that can be a difference between someone who takes like 30 seconds to a minute or do it in 5 seconds. So I personally, I would have loved to have seen you, sort of do that.
I would love to have done it, man. It actually just looks like a wicked obstacle course to go on.
It is fun. Do you know what? It's not. I don't think it's as tiring as the qualifier. I think it wasn't. I'll tell you the weird part on it. The hand ladder bit. You go up the barrel run. the hand ladder, you instinctively want to look up to check the rungs, but the water's coming down and that's coming into your face. So you almost like have to not look at the rungs and just guess where you are toward the end. That was a bit disorientating. Everything else was fairly straightforward, but it was a strange one because I don't know about you, but it felt like because you and I were posted the fastest times, it almost felt as if I remember my opinion when we got drawn against each other. I thought, well, if you go through, then you're going to walk away with it easy, because I just thought on paper you're faster than everyone else, and I think if you
I thought that about you as well. I thought when you got in there, I was like, John's got this in the bag. He's got this one. It's a wrap here.
You know what though? It was. I became nervous because up to that point, all the attention was on you on the show and focused on you. And then because technically I had the fastest qualifier going to the final, I was worried that, oh no, does this mean all I'm expected now? And then it was a case of, do you go out and win something or do you try not to lose it? Yeah. And it was, I felt like I was like tiptoeing around things. I didn't want to make a massive mistake, but in doing that, I nearly fluffed it anyway. Because, God, that one bit at the start, I couldn't even get onto the thing properly. Much, I don't know. But yeah, no, I think you would have been rapid on that. And then equally, and I'll tell you now, even when I was even in the champ show, I kept thinking, how would you have fared against everyone here? And I still maintain you would have been right up there at the sharp end. I really do. Man. So thanks, man. It's no, honestly, if the show comes back, I mean, I'd love to see you in action again. I really would. Yeah,
yeah, I'd definitely be up for it for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Have you met up with others after Total Wipeout? Well, you and I have sort of kept in touch. Obviously, I saw you at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
Most of it has just been on social media, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, on the socials and stuff like that. Yeah. I think, either someone will post stuff. I know, some people have had kids. I've had kids. I think.
Yeah.
A kid since then as well. So So yeah, I think mainly on the socials, I'd say.
Yeah. Right. So Super Ninja Jake 2. How did it feel to spin off the final platform? This is what I asked you earlier, knowing that if you'd landed on it, which I thought was going to happen, you could have set a new record time on the qualifier. So, yeah, because what was your thoughts when, on that final sort of swing, it looked like you'd almost got it, and then, was it you tried to grab it and then just slipped off?
Yeah, it's mad to think. I had no idea that would have been a record time. I don't think anyone said at the time that would have been it at all. But I think you're just literally just praying that somehow you stop
that's it.
when you're swinging above, but you kind of almost hit it, and then just because it's already wet from everyone else trying to get onto it, you just slide all the way. I think I just slid all the way down the stairs and had to climb back up. So
those steps get quite tiring as well by the end of the course, and they're massive,
especially when you're wet as well. Especially when you're wet and your clothes are heavy and everything.
Yeah, and that jacket is quite restrictive as well in movement.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Okay, yeah. So the second part, also can't help but feel sad and laugh at how you did on treadmill against John. How did feel for you? Basically, I think he's essentially saying that he really felt for you on.
Mate, I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming. And it was funny though, because after that, because I fell off that thing and took the whole thing.
Yeah.
Who was it who got injured? Someone pulled their groin or something. Was it Mark? Pulled his groin.
Yeah.
And then I think they actually took it off the show, didn't they? Because I remember watching on subsequent episodes that it was something else. So I thought they took it away because it was a bit too
maybe
it caused too many injuries or people falling off of it.
Yeah, because all I know is that after hours they only used they did treadmill on episode 8. They did it on episode 8 with Army James. Then in series 3 they only used treadmill once, and that was it, and never again. They took it off. But I don't know if you remember, although on the show it showed our run first, we were actually the last to go.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you had the 4 of us? So it was you, Benny, Paul, and me were in there. Yeah. We know that Rob and Mark are out there, and then Johnny comes in, crying his eyes out. He said, "I've got to get Dad's stuff. He's off to hospital." Yeah. And then they call Paul and Benny. They're like, you two get called out, and then you and I look at each other, and think, what the hell just happened out there?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what are you going into?
We've got to do this.
Yeah. Part of me does kind of think, I wonder if I'd got away with it if I just ran forward. because you knew you had to lift it. You had to like lift. They tell you to like lift the door.
Yeah.
So I reckon if you'd have just like run through it and got through anyway, it would have probably.
I suppose if you just run and just keep pushing it, sort of thing, and then behind you,
yeah.
I've watched it and it looked like, and the thing is, on a treadmill, even I nearly lost my footing as well. If your foot just scuffs it slightly, I think it was just a slight little thing like that, and it just put you forward. And then at that point, you gotta pick yourself up.
Finished. And I somehow thought that gate was like bolted in. So I thought if I hold on to that door, it's gonna keep me.
Yeah,
it's gonna keep me,
you can pick yourself back up.
Exactly. Yeah, get back up to it. But yeah, no, went straight into the water.
Because actually, I got to tell you something I heard afterwards. Like, of course, the other thing that people may not know is that was actually our second run, wasn't it? Because do you remember when we misread the rules and we both jumped the gun initially?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember? Yeah. What happened was that when the treadmill starts and it builds up to speed, and then the klaxon goes on the first go. It started. And I thought I saw you move, so I moved as well. And you were ahead of me on the doors, and I just thought, hang on a minute, have I misread the rules or something? I think I'm out. And you were through door 2, and I was going through door 1, so behind. And then they stopped it. They went, no, you've got to wait for the klaxon. I went, oh, right, okay. Also, that is. I honestly thought I'd misread the rules, and it was that, no, we have to go straight away. So they called us back. Then we had to do the old jogging thing, and then we go.
Oh, no, I remember now, actually. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Because honestly, at that point, because there's been instances in other shows where people have misread the rules and realized that they could have done something and they didn't, and it, put them out. And of course, then we go again. And I'll tell you now, I was petrified on that one. I genuinely, because for me, trying to go against you, that was basically the final. Because you were just streets ahead of everyone. I was too afraid to even look at your lane. I just kept looking forward.
I know. I saw when you watch it back, you kind of like see you obviously have no idea that I've,
I'll tell you what happened. I think it's coming up to door 2. I thought I heard a splash, but I wasn't entirely sure. And I was too afraid to look. So I thought if I look, I could trip. And I'm out. I thought, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I get to the end. I turn, that bit on TV when you see me looking, pointing like that. That's because I've realised I just want to go and check. Are you okay? And they went, no, you can't deal with that. We got to film you right now. Celebrate. I went, no, I got to. You're right. No. Go celebrate. I'm like, oh, okay. And I think some people may have thought I was celebrating seeing you go in the water. It wasn't. I was under orders to do what they said. So yeah, I was worried.
Worry, John. I believe you. I believe you.
Actually, I think it's one of the other questions coming up, talking about whether you and I have done sort of stuff since. Hold on, because I think we've covered that one. Is it on this next one? Let's just go through it because it's all right. Time's moving on. But yeah, I've got a couple of ideas on things. Right, are there any rules to the door jam game we aren't told about? I think it's all been covered, really, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Like this one, exactly. I was thinking I would have rather have done that, just gone straight through to it, and then just like pushed it over my head and carried on going.
Yeah. So he's effectively, what's this, GTC? He's effectively saying exactly what you were thinking of doing. That's a good point, though, about them not being bolted down, because I understand now the reason of using that to pull yourself back up.
Yeah. I thought I'd have got a little bit more momentum back into it.
Yeah. So, it's kind of weird with some of the obstacles when you just don't know, because we don't have any practice whatsoever. We're going into it. It's a complete unknown, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
so let's see. But from what I remember, I don't think anyone ever does that. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. Did you and John both make it past Sucker Punch? I think you did, didn't you?
We did. Yeah. I think we did. Yeah.
Because I've got a well, I know I did, because actually, you weren't muddy, and I pretty much remember, after we'd finished, we weren't allowed to talk to people who hadn't gone yet, and there was a pool of us just at the end. We were just chatting amongst ourselves after the qualifier. I've got a feeling you and I were just talking how we did, and we started to realise, we thought, hang on a minute, we've done the same. We pretty much mirrored each other on the course. Because we both cleared what I called the toadstools at the start. The Sucker Punch we cleared, but they never showed it. We both got to the fourth ball, and we both fell off at the end. But it was just you were a lot faster.
I can, like, in my head now looking back at it, you can kind of like tell if someone was going to be quick, as if they came out of it and they weren't covered in mud.
Yeah,
they had probably got a pretty
that's a good point. Yeah,
half decent time.
yeah.
I think on it.
But I mean, there's a point. What was your reaction to being the fastest qualifier? Because when we're doing it, it feels slower than what time they actually give you. But how did you feel when your name was called out top of the pile?
I was buzzing, man. I was like,
I can imagine.
Come on, bring on the next round. Come on.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what? I remember with me, because my mate did it in the first series, and I thought, I just want to get into the top 12. And I remember saying to Amanda afterwards, I said, it's going to be so close. I said, I think that was about 2.5 minutes I took. And I said, it's going to be so touch and go. I said, I just want to get into the second round. I just want to get to sweeper. And then when I said, oh, second, I'm like, what? Hold on, you mean I'm at the front end of the show? I thought I'd be further down. So it was like, yeah. It's kind of funny. It's the whole thing. It feels slower when when you're doing it versus what they tell you. Now, let's see. It's pretty funny how similar runs were. Yeah, Fourth Red Ball and Leap of Faith. Oh, here we go. Have you applied for any other TV shows? And if you have, which ones?
Oh, it's funny actually. Like one of my mates that signed up to Total Wipeout didn't get through. So I think a few years back there was a show called £1 Million Drop.
Oh, I remember that.
We both applied for it, got through to the final 2.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get back on it. But I think the reason why was we didn't really like argue whilst we were doing the thing. And obviously they want it to make it like interesting TV. So if you're with your mate, you kind of like, argue with other questions.
I get it. They want a bit of conflict there, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. Which the other 2 did like massively, and we kind of like heard it and saw it, which was crazy, which was fair enough. But we bumped into them randomly on Oxford Street.
Right.
And kind of like asked them about how it was, and they didn't win any money. So it made it feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that was the only other thing that we'd kind of...
Do you know what? I think really of any TV show you could go on, to have an all expenses paid trip halfway across the world is you're going to be hard pushed to top that, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, have you ever thought of Ninja Warrior at all?
Have I? I haven't actually.
Yeah.
I haven't. No.
Yeah. No, because I mean, have you got a Ninja Warrior park near you at all?
I think we've got actually. So I live in Kent now.
Yeah.
So at Lakeside, which is like quite near to us, there's a Total Wipeout. Yeah, there's a Total Wipeout.
There is.
Right there. Yeah, exactly. So
have you been on that at all? Because I've heard.
I'm hoping it's still there this summer. So we'll hopefully go down and give it a go.
Oh, if you do, can you let me know what it's like? Because a couple of us have talked about it, and we said we're going to have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, it's
really interesting because then you can tell us how it compares to the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think it will ever compare to like Argentina when you've got like all the cameras and stuff like that.
No, exactly. Yeah,
it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I think the fear element of all the fear element of knowing that all eyes are watching you, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Just the added pressure of it all.
Yeah.
So, right, I'll tell you what, because with time, shall we move on to the football side of things? Because obviously you're known as a semi-pro Chris, but then I think you need to be called a bit more than semi-pro, because let's face it, I would say getting to play at Wembley Stadium is being a bit beyond being semi-pro, isn't it?
No, it still kind of is, to be honest. Yeah. I'd love to be like, I don't know, professional footballer, but I think I don't know where I was at the time. I think in my kind of like football stuff, I don't think it was going to kind of like go beyond that level at that time.
Yeah.
I think, but so yeah, I'd played like football all throughout, like I think from like since I was like, I don't know, 10, 12, which is kind of late to be fair. But always been like a goalkeeper, and didn't get picked to play in the squad unless I went in goal. So I kind of just like stuck at it.
Yeah.
I think long story short, I think I'd kind of had trials in the past for like clubs like Charlton, Athletic, and played for like more kind of like non-league clubs like Bromley, like where around I was like living at the time.
Yeah.
And then ended up playing for Tunbridge Wells, who in the, I think it was at the time was called the Combined Counties League.
Okay,
I could be wrong on that one anyway. And in my second season there, we were in the Vars, the FA Vars, and this run was just like unbelievable. Like my first full season with them, and we took each game as it came, and then as you go deeper and deeper into the rounds,
Yeah.
you start to like believe a little bit more that you could kind of like you know, get through to the next stage and to the next stage and beat the next team. And you know, we were this like, you know, little team from like Tunbridge Wells playing these kind of like bigger established teams in leagues where you have, you know, players that have kind of like been, you know, have left kind of professional football teams and are playing in these like non-league positions, and we're like up against them.
Yeah.
And I think the semi-final game, which always kind of stand out to me, is we played this team called Shildon, and they were based up near like Newcastle. And the stadium that this game was in, it was like, and no offense to the people of Shildon, like around there, but in the stadium, I felt like it was in like, have you ever watched like Shameless?
Maybe
it was like in an estate. It was like in an estate like that.
Right, I get the idea. It's we've got like a little football pitch just up the road here, and it's just
Oh, it wasn't. It was like the most kind of like hostile environment you could ever imagine. And like being a goalkeeper, you're kind of like almost like right next to it. You're like not like the players like in the middle of the pitch wherever they are. You're literally like.
Because if you're, I've just realised, if you're defending against the team, generally the supporters are behind that sort of goal, because if they score,
exactly, pretty much, they were literally right behind the goal in it as well. So the environment was ridiculous. And we had luckily beat them at our ground, so we had to play them away. And we went 3-2 down in the game. And then we somehow brought it back to like extra time. And in that extra time, we scored a goal, managed to hold on to a lead. And we booked our ticket to Wembley, which was like ridiculous. We could not believe it. We could not believe it. And then Wembley, it's like every footballer's like dream. Like, you know, if you you know, play football in England and the UK, you know, watching it as a kid, as an Arsenal fan, you know, FA Cup finals and stuff like that at Wembley, it's like a dream come true, you know. So to experience that, even though we lost on the day, it was wicked, man.
It was just to be a part of it all, wasn't it? It was
exactly
Now, I'm trying to call up, because I've actually got a couple of pictures and some footage. Oh, this might be working now. Of what? First of all, so let me get this right. You actually appeared on a billboard. Was this down in Tunbridge Wells?
So this was in Tunbridge Wells. So we've got like the club, Tunbridge Wells Football Club. Massive support fan base out of there. So like I think there was like 14,000. I think that came from Tunbridge Wells to the to Wembley. And I think all over like the town we had like projected images of all the players and stuff like that all over it as well. So the support from like the local community was ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, to get your face on a billboard, I mean that's pretty. You know, you're doing well at that point.
It's absolutely mental.
Yeah. No, because do you know what? I've been trying for the last couple of minutes. I've been trying to get the share screen up, and I've been having tech issues, so I didn't think it was going to work. Now, one of these is the clip of that was the thing. You ended up in a what was this? The FA Bar special. So what's this? Is this on the back page of the or in the sports section of what?
Yeah, so it's the local paper. I can't remember what the name of it of it was called around Tunbridge Wells, I think. But, there was this piece on there as well, like, man, where you know, I almost didn't even get into the squad, because I think before.
Do you know what? I was reading some of it. I couldn't believe what I was reading there, but it was
crazy. Yeah,
wasn't it like persistence on your part?
Well, yeah, a bit. Yeah, I think at the time, like me and my now wife moved down to Tunbridge Wells, and I wanted to kind of like get back into like playing at like that competitive level. So I'd emailed like the manager a few times, to like kind of come down to pre-season train, whatever. Didn't hear anything back, so I messaged like a few times, and somehow got his number and started sending him like text messages, and then he kind of like submitted to like all the messages from me and like let me come down, and the rest was history, really, I guess.
God, and then look what it led to in the end.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, persistence paid off.
Let's see. I think this is the one. Is that if anyone wants to look, it is the full videos on YouTube, but this is a little edited highlights of you playing at Wembley, and this was almost at the 10th anniversary. Wasn't it like the 4th of May or something, 2013?
Yeah. I think it's 10th anniversary coming up now. I think in May. So next month. And I think we're all still in touch. I think a lot of the boys that were in that squad.
Oh, that's good.
We're
Yeah,
catch up. I think for celebrate 10 years of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that.
So you got that celebrating, and then, of course, with our show, we're coming up to 14 years of that in next week as well. You got 2 anniversaries coming up.
Crazy.
Right, let's have a look. Let's see if this works now.
That's pretty cool.
Do you know what? I'm so pleased I got tickets to go and watch that. Because, in case anyone's wondering, I was actually at the stadium. As soon as I heard that you made the final, I said to my mate, he lives in London anyway. I said, look, I want to come down and watch this. Do you want to come? So he's like, yeah. So we did that, and then we went out into town later. So
yeah, no, it was wicked, man. To have that and to have like my parents, family, friends. I think a lot of my mates made like this massive banner. For it as well, like, man, which I think I still got somewhere,
right?
But yeah, it was like it's every like footballer's dream to kind of like experience that. Even like the lead up to it, like we all got treated to like from Tunbridge Wells Football Club, like new suits and stuff like that for the game. All the kit that we got, everything. You're like you felt like a professional footballer. I think that we
brilliant
to it.
Yeah.
And even though we kind of like we lost in the end. We all had a good night out afterwards as well, which was wicked. So yeah.
I would have just thought, just the whole experience, just going to Wembley, coming back, all that. I mean, I've always enjoyed team-based sort of sports anyway, especially in rowing. You know, when we do like sort of relay stuff, it's just there's such a good atmosphere when there's a group of you working together towards something. So
yeah, it is exactly when you get to that kind of like pinnacle.
Yeah.
And you all kind of like know what each other's feeling.
Yeah.
You have this kind of like bond similar to like, Total Wipeout, I think.
Yeah.
You always have that kind of like connection with people because you've all done this thing together. I think some of the boys also got like some Wembley tattoos as well. I didn't get one. But I think but yeah, it was a wicked experience that
awesome.
I love watching that video every now and again.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I can't wait until my son's a little bit older. I can kind of like show. I've got my like Wembley shirt framed up here actually in my office as well, and it's so yeah, it's good stuff to look back onto.
Yeah, so I need to check. I think I covered all the. I did cover all the questions. I think. Did cover that. It's all right. We've got about another 5 minutes just to quickly wrap things up. But what I was thinking was that effectively what you're doing now, because you've moved into being a PT, haven't you?
Yeah, personal trainer. Yeah. So it's cool. I think like a lot of people, I think over COVID, you kind of question like, what it is you're doing and what's important, what kind of like gives you fulfillment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've got like a day job where I work in digital marketing / IT.
Right.
And I think, as much as I kind of have really enjoy that kind of like stuff from a day job point of view, I think what kind of like fires me up is just like fitness, activity, movement. And when I stopped playing football, I think me training kind of like really kind of replaced that. And I think through lockdown I kind of like for me kind of like saw how important like physical activity is to like your mindset and the kind of like the pillar to all these other things like doing well.
So it keeps your sanity, doesn't it?
Exactly. So I think just before lockdown I trained as a personal trainer, got my qualifications, and then lockdown happened, which was like it kind of like messed out all the kind of like plans and all that kind of stuff. But I've kind of like I think pushed through that, and then now doing personal training alongside my day job. So I'm a coach at a gym now. I personal train clients mainly in the mornings and the evenings. And trying to turn that into like a full-time job. I guess so yeah, that's the plan of it. So yeah, if anyone needs any training tips, advice,
Well, yeah, because what I'm going to do is that this video, the full version, is going to be on YouTube, and then because your main profile is that the Instagram.
Yeah, the Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'll do is that there'll be two versions of this. There's the full length interview that's going to be on YouTube, and then on Instagram, I'll scale it down to about a 10 to 15 minute one. On that, I'll tag you in the post so people can just click on your profile and go straight to you.
Oh, nice one,
and have a look, because I got to say, I love the way you sort of sum things up in training, but also it's some of the funny sketches that you do as well. That one, the one yesterday, the 2.5 kilo on the plate. I was like, yeah, that was relatable.
But everyone's been there, right?
It's
I
true.
think that's what I try and do.
True.
I think with it, you know, I don't take things too seriously.
No.
You know what I mean? I like to have a bit of a laugh and a joke with whatever it is I'm doing, you know, and I try to like bring that through in like my training, so you can I don't know, relate to it a little bit, you know. So yeah.
Actually, yeah, I was thinking at some point we've got to have a proper catch up, because someone was asking if we've ever competed against each other since. I mean, I'm not in any fit shape for competing, but do you know what? Something that I'd love to do is that I'm too heavy at the moment. I can't do any obstacles or nothing. Gravity's like not my friend. But if you've got a Ninja Warrior Park sort of near your area, I thought it'd be so good for us to have a catch up and sort of mess around on a few obstacles and stuff.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah,
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there is one like near Lakeside. I think there might be one, but
they're popping up all over the place. We've even got one in Bristol, close to me. We've got Bristol, Cardiff, Gloucester. They're even having competitions at them now. I went to one in Gloucester in January just to watch, and they had these 100-meter speed trials. And so you've got competitors from Ninja Warrior, and they're actually tearing through the course. But literally anyone can enter these things.
Yeah.
And there's a few events like that. If I hear of anything near your neck of the woods, I'll see if I can come down. But then we can catch up at the same time as well.
Yeah, likewise, man. I don't mind a bit of a road trip. So if there's anyone up in Bristol, I don't mind taking a trip over.
Oh, no, it sounds good. Yeah, well, actually, if you ever did venture down to Bristol, I can meet you, and then we could do something in the Ninja Warrior Park there. I'll tell you I'll tell you another one that's worth going to in Swindon, so that's a bit closer to you. A guy that I got to know, I auditioned for the first series of Ninja Warrior, didn't get in, but I got to know this one guy who runs his own Ninja Warrior gym. And his facility, it's like a giant warehouse, and the warped wall he's got is even bigger than what's on the show. And he's got every obstacle that you see on the show. He's basically replicated it in this gym, and he trains people that, so you got all like ninjas from all over the world. They come over and come and train at this place. And I've been meaning to pop down there for ages. So, maybe we could do a catch up there or something. That could work.
That sounds good, man. I'll be up for it, man.
The obstacles there look absolutely amazing. They really do. So, but I'll tell you now, you'll be better on the obstacles than me at the moment, because I can't even do hand ladders at the moment. Or like in CrossFit, the sort of gladiators hang tough rings. I literally going from one to the other. I gotta drop a few kilos before I can do that again.
I'm sure you'll be all right, man.
I'll get there.
I've seen you move about, man. You'll be all right.
You know what? Yeah, no, I can sit on a bike at the moment and pedal away because I'm not carrying my body weight on as such. But anything up in the air, and I'm not there at the moment. I got a bit of work to do. So But no, I honestly, mate, like you said about your mindset and everything about sort of training. I know with me, when I can't train properly, in my head, it's just I get so much more miserable in myself. So it's a real crucial thing. So I'm desperately trying to get myself back in shape. So
well, if you need any like advice and tips, man.
I just thought, you know what? Maybe that's an idea. Next time I'm down in London, what if I come and do a training session with you, and then you put me through my paces?
Yeah, well, I've got like a little gym in my garage here, like man.
I'm just thinking that,
together,
No, that'd be good. Yeah, then you can genuinely see what the shape of me is at the moment. And when I say shape, I mean round is a shape at the moment. Oh, Chris, this has been so good catching up. Great, I'm sorry we can't go any longer. Just so everyone knows, I got to pick my car up from the garage, and I've got 24 minutes to get there before they close. We'll have to call it a day on that. But Chris, thanks so much for doing this. I'm sure we'll do a follow-up interview. If we ever do a meet-up with any trainer or anything like that, we'll have to film it and just have a bit of a muck around on camera. So I'm sure there's a few people that want to see you in action again, doing sort of obstacles and stuff. So
no treadmills though, yeah.
Stay away from those. Oh, nice one, mate. Chris, this has been an absolute blast. It really has.
Nice one, John.
So good catching up.
Man. Good to chat.
All right, nice one. Okay, so to everyone watching, thank you so much, and we'll there'll be another interview coming soon. All right, cheers.